Hello friends, this is Music Man from his man cave, and I want to address this issue, getting a car to 300,000 miles. Is it possible? And if it is possible, how do you do it? Now, I've seen a lot of blogs on the internet saying no, it's not possible, and some saying it's absolutely possible. Even abused, a car can make it. So I am here to set the record straight. Let's discuss this. How can you get a car or a truck, SUV, whatever you want to call it, how can you get that coveted 300,000 miles out of it? Coming at you. Music Man. Cars going 300,000 miles. Well, one way you can actually easily do it is if you drive 30,000 miles on the interstate a year. You can reach 300,000 miles easily by doing that. And say your car went 300,000 miles. But that's not what I'm addressing here. How do you get that coveted 300,000 miles in the 20 to 25 years from a car? That's what we're addressing here. We're not addressing someone that drives 60,000 miles a year on the interstate and then says they got 300,000 miles out of their car. That's the easiest driving on a car. I'm talking about a person that drives their car an average of 10 to 15,000 miles a year. So that's what we're addressing. We're not addressing the ones that drive 300,000 miles in a couple of years. Because some people, they brag they drove their car 300,000 miles, and what you find out is that basically they were commuting to work every day, 2 hours or something. Yeah, it's easy to reach 300,000 miles in 10 years doing that. Can you get 20 to 25 years out of a car? I'm here to tell you that you can. The first thing you have to do is you have to be very, very careful about the car that you buy and that the features that it has. If you're going to drive a car 300,000 miles, you really want to buy it from brand new and you want to drive it 300,000 miles, there's some sacrifices you're going to have to make. Well, one is you're going to have to narrow down the cars that to the cars that are more of a standard of reliability. I'm not saying that they're perfect. I'm not saying that they might not have valve problems or their accelerator pedal might stick or something like that. I'm not saying that they're invincible or they're bulletproof. I'm just saying that they have a standard, tighter tolerances, better engineering, so forth. And those cars that so forth year after year, Consumer Reports and everybody else that's owned them, that happens to be Toyota, Honda, Lexus, Acura, Subaru, Mazda, Asian cars. They'll leave one out there. Did I say Honda? Those are the cars that tend to last the longest. I have a Toyota Camry out in the yard that's running great. Now it has 255,000 miles on it. Another thing is you got to let some of those fancy gizmos go that they load onto the cars today. Touchscreen stuff, electronic stuff. That stuff is going to be nothing but something to break very, very quickly down the road. May start malfunctioning on you quicker than you think. And besides that, they're a hassle to use. I've been in cars where people have tried to show me that, and they have to hit the screen like several times trying to get the thing to work. So you want to give some of that up. And if you live in the Northwest, you might want to give up air conditioning. I'm just telling you. It pulls down on the motor. It's another thing to break. You probably want to go with a manual transmission instead of an automatic transmission, because where you're going to have problems is in that last 50 to 75,000 miles to 300,000 miles. That's when, for me, even with my Honda, my transmission gave out. So if you have a manual transmission, it costs a third of the price to replace that than a automatic transmission. So what I'm saying is like, I know you can probably, and this is being very, very liberal, you probably pay $600 to put in to replace an automatic transmission, where with a manual transmission. With automatic transmission, you're going to spend probably $2,500, and if you only have, the car's only worth $1,000, $1,500 in this last 50,000 miles, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. So, there are some issues that you have to think about. A manual also will help you to drive more defensively and to drive better. So that's what I like. I like just a basic car. Also, you might want to give up electric windows and things like that and just have a roll-up window. That's debatable, but I'm just saying the car I have out there has the roll-up windows. And the other car that I have has had the motor go out on the electric window. I've had to replace it. So those are the kind of things that start going at 200 to 300,000 miles. As those motors in the windows and little things like that, and the door locks, and you have to replace the wiring chassis. I'm talking from experience. So the more basic a car is, the more you have a chance of actually driving it for 20 years and driving it the 300,000 miles. The more gadgets you put on the thing, the more trouble you're looking at. And so let's review the car you buy. You have to be very, very careful and selective about the brand of car you buy. Cars that have a standard of reliability. You have to make sure that you buy a car that doesn't have all these fancy things on it that are just something that's going to break from 200 to 300,000 miles, if not even sooner. So you want to look at that carefully. You need to do research. Like, I know my Toyota Camrys have suspension problems. I can deal with that. But the motors and the trannies are known to go 250 to 300,000 miles. Will I get 300,000 miles out of my Camry that it has 180,000 miles? Will I get 300,000 miles with that automatic transmission? Probably not. I might get 250, probably going on 300,000. I might get there, but usually those transmissions wear out. Even on Subarus, you name it. The automatic transmissions are usually shot before 300,000 miles. Unless you drive it, you drive 30,000 miles a year for 10 years. Then you'll easily make 300,000 miles. But if it's going to make it 25 years. Now, also we need to talk really quickly about maintenance. If your car is going to make it the distance, you've got to do the routine maintenance on the car. Yes, you do. You have to do those things that in the booklet it tells you to do for the car. You do have to change the antifreeze. Or at 200,000 miles, you're going to have problems. Guaranteed. Up to 150,000 miles, you probably won't have a problem at all. You're going to have to flush out the tranny fluid and do that about every 100,000 miles. I would. You're going to have to change the brake fluid, and on and on. And those maintenance things you're going to have to do if you're going to get the car to go 300,000 miles. If you just leave the regular stuff in there, it's just going to lead to a plethora of problems. Say that 10 times fast. A plethora of problems. And you're going to think, this car is unreliable. They said it would go, 300,000 and it won't. Well, it's going to take some things from you. So I'll address some other issues as we go through this. You can drive a car 300,000 miles, but we'll talk more in depth about this. Are you a good driver? One of the best answers I ever heard is someone said, which is better, an automatic or a manual? And the answer from an intelligent friend of mine was, how good of a driver are you? In other words, if you're a good driver, manual. If you're a bad driver, automatic. So are you a defensive driver? If you're not a defensive driver and take that second look when you're turning out in front of traffic or whatever, it's most likely you're not going to make it to 300,000 miles. Because what will happen is even a minor incident, the cost of repairing the car will supersede the Kelley Blue Book value of the car. Therefore, you will probably not want to fix it. Anyway, just some food for thought. I'll talk more about how to get that car to 300,000 miles coming at you. You can drive them 300,000 miles with a little bit of luck. Well, probably a lot of luck. And choosing the right car, doing all the things that we've talked about. It can be done. But most people don't make it for one other simple reason. Boredom. Driving a car to 300,000 miles, if you're not the kind of person that's a content person, you're going to get bored and want to replace the car. More coming at you. See ya.